Welcome to Design of Machine Element 2, Module 5. It is about lubrication and bearing. We have already studied some of the basic concept of hydrodynamic bearing. Today we'll solve one of the important equation, so that is used to determine coefficient of friction in case of general bearing. We'll start with the Petrov equation. So coming to the Petrov equation, so Petrov equation is used to determine the coefficient of friction in general bearing. So it is based on some of the important assumptions. So we'll see what are the assumptions. The first assumption that is made in deriving Petrov equation is the shaft is always concentric with the bearing. Second one, the bearing is subjected to a light load, because we have to assume that whatever the bearing that is subjected to light load, it should not be heavy load. And the shaft is always concentric with bearing. And third one, the end leakage is completely negligible, so there should not be any kind of leakage in the bearing. So then next one, fourth one, the oil is used of high viscosity. The viscosity of the oil should be high. Such oil should be, you have to select. Fifth one, the journal revolves at high speed. The speed of rotation of journal, that should be very high. In practice, such condition is not possible, but however the Petrov equation is important because it defines the group of dimensional parameters that govern the frictional properties of bearing. So we have to derive one expression for coefficient of friction. So that equation is nothing but Petrov equation. So these are the some of the important assumption. So this is the diagram. A vertical rotating shaft in the bearing is shown. So this is the shaft, so that is always rotating inside the bearing. So you can see here, let D is the diameter of journal, and C is the radial clearance between the journal and bearing. Small letter n is nothing but speed of journal in revolution per second. It should not be in revolution per minute. So n is the speed of journal in RPS, and L is nothing but length of bearing, and capital letter Z is nothing but absolute viscosity in Pascal second. So these are the important terminology. So C is nothing but distance between the journal and bearing surfaces. It is nothing but radial clearance. You can see here in the previous diagram. So this is the R, whatever the radius of the journal, and the small letter D is nothing but diameter of journal, and L is the length of journal. What is the length of the bearing? So L is nothing but length of bearing. It should be in millimeter, and N or NS is nothing but speed of journal speed of rotation of a journal. It should be in RPS, revolution per second, and this is the load acting, W, and so this is the vertical shaft rotating in bearing. So the velocity at the surface of the journal is given by 2 pi r n, so or pi d n. So that is the velocity at the surface of journal. So that's given here. The velocity v is given by 2 pi rn or pi d n, because we are considering n in rps, so there should not be any 60 or 60,000. So velocity should be in meter per second. So that's why 2 pi r into n. Now we have to use according to Newton's law of viscosity. So you know what is the law of Newton's law of viscosity. So that is shear stress is directly proportional to rate of shear strain. So that is given by with the help of Newton's law, the shear stress can be given by tau is equal to z into v by h. You may study this in fluid mechanics. So z is nothing but mu. Mu is nothing but absolute viscosity, because in our data and book, but viscosity is represented as capital letter Z. So that's why I use Z as absolute viscosity. V divided by h. So V is nothing but uh, velocity velocity at the surface of the journal, and h. So h is nothing but radial clearance, or it is the distance between the journal bearing and surface. So that is nothing but small letter h. So we will apply above equation for a viscous flow through the annular portion between the journal and bearing in the circumferential direction. So therefore, whatever the force that is acting, it is nothing but tangential force, because you know shear stress is nothing but shear stress equal to shear stress by area. So that's why the force is nothing but tangential frictional force is equal to tau into A. So that is equation for shear stress. So surface area is given by, that is nothing but area of journal surface, that is 2 pi RL, 2 pi RL, because you have to consider both sides. So that's why 2 pi RL. So force equal to Z into V divided by H into A. Now we have to substitute the tau, we have to substitute as according to Newton's law of viscosity, that is Z into V divided by H into A. Now we have to substitute all the value. So that is H and V value as well as A value we have to substitute for tangential frictional force. So H equal to C. So therefore F equal to Z into V. So V is nothing but pi into 2 into R into N divided by C into pi into 2 into R into L. This 2 pi R L. So after substitution, so we'll get the equation as 4 pi square R square into L into Z into N divided by C. So that is the equation for force, or tangential frictional force. Now how to find out frictional torque? Frictional torque is given by, you know, equation for torque, that is force into radius. So torque equal to, you have to multiply by R to the previous equation, that is 4 pi square R square into L into Z into N divided by C into R. So you will get equation for frictional torque, that is 4 pi square R cube into L into Z into N divided by C. Let us consider a radial force, that is as shown in the figure, radial force W acting on the bearing as shown in figure B. The unit bearing pressure acting on the bearing is given by pressure equal to load by projected area. So that is 2 RL. So W by 2 RL. So W can be written as P into 2 into R into L. So that is the load acting on the bearing. The frictional force is given by F into W, because whatever the frictional force, that will be and whatever the frictional torque is given by, frictional force will be F into W, and frictional torque will be, you know, torque is always force into frictional force into radius. Therefore we have to multiply with R to the frictional force. So therefore torque you will get F into W into R. So it's nothing but F into P into 2 into R into L into R. So you will get second equation. Now this is previous equation you got, that is the frictional torque. Now after considering the load and whatever the unit bearing pressure, so again you got one more torque, that is frictional torque. So that will be equation number 2. Now from the equation 1 and 2 we have to equate. So therefore the whatever the uh, LHS should be same, therefore RHS also same. Now we have to equate from equation 1 and 2. Therefore you will get 4 pi square R cube L into Z into N divided by C equal to F into P into 2 into R into L into R. So after simplifying, so you will get equation for F. So that equation will be coefficient of friction for in case of general bearing. So that is 2 pi square into Z into N divided by P into R by C. So this is the where whatever the bearing pressure, so you have to equate in terms of Newton per meter square. So just one of the important note, the P should be Newton per meter square. So if you are using P in case of Newton per millimeter square, so you have to multiply by 10 to the power minus 6. So that is whatever the standard equation given in your data handbook. That is F equal to 2 pi square into 10 to the power minus 6 Z into N divided by P into R by C. So this is nothing but Petrov equation. So one of the most important equation that can be used in the design of general bearing. So where F is nothing but coefficient of friction, Z is nothing but absolute viscosity. Whatever the unit of viscosity should be in Pascal second or Newton second per meter square, and N should be in RPS, revolution per second. P is nothing but unit bearing pressure. The pressure should be in megapascal or Newton per millimeter square. So R is nothing but a radius of the journal, and C is nothing but a radial clearance. So this is the standard equation you will get from equation number 15.4a. Now coming to the next topic, that is coefficient of friction. In order to determine the coefficient of friction for well lubricated full general bearing, the following empirical reduction established by MK based on experimental data. So this is one more equation for coefficient of friction. So that equation is called MK equation. So that is from equation number 15.4 MK equation. So based on this, F value will be this one Ka into Z into N divided by P into R by C into 10 to the power minus 6 plus delta F. So whatever the delta F value, so that is given below this expression for full general bearing. That is the angle is 360 degree. So this is about coefficient of friction from McKee investigation. Now we already discussed minimum oil film thickness. So then the bearing should withstand whatever the load with the help of maximum pressure. So that will build during the formation of hydrodynamic lubrication. You know, the converging oil film will be generated. So there will be a smallest distance between the journal and bearing surface. So that thickness we call it as minimum oil film thickness. It is denoted by H naught. So it is given by equation number 15.7b. Now coming to the heat generated. So heat generated in the bearing is due to fluid friction and friction of different parts when there will be a relative motion. So it can be calculated as that of this equation, that is Hg. The main intention is whatever the heat generated in the system, that should be carried away. So we need to find out what is the amount of artificial cooling required, whether it is required or not. The heat dissipation is more, then there will be artificial cooling is needed. If the heat generated is more than heat dissipation, so that will be obviously artificial cooling is required. So Hg is given by F into W into V. So where F is nothing but coefficient of friction, and W is nothing but load, and V is nothing but velocity. So this is the standard equation for heat generated, that is from equation number 15.11a. Now heat dissipation according to whatever the mode of heat transfer, after thermal equilibrium has reached, heat will be dissipated at the outer surface of the bearing at the same rate at which it is generated in the oil film. The amount of heat dissipated will depend on temperature difference, size, mass of the radiating surface, and amount of air flowing around the bearing. Nothing but natural convection. So convection mode of heat transfer, so it should be depend on temperature difference, then area according to Newton's law of cooling. So we have to find out, that is Hd, heat dissipation is given by Ah into A dash into Eb minus A. So I think this is studied in heat transfer, that is from equation number 15.11b. So Eb minus Ta is calculated using To minus Ta divided by 2. So T naught is nothing but operating temperature. So T naught is nothing but operating temperature of the bearing. So based on different oil, so that value you have to find out. Here Tb is nothing but bearing temperature, so that temperature is always high, and Ta is nothing but surrounding temperature or atmospheric temperature, so that will be usually atmospheric temperature, usually 25 degrees Celsius to 30 degrees Celsius, and To is nothing but operating temperature of the bearing. So always heat will be transferred from higher temperature region to lower temperature region. Now coming to the next topic, that is Sommerfeld number. It is one of the most important dimensionless number parameters that extensively used in the design of general bearing. So this is nothing but Sommerfeld number, and it can be calculated based on these two equations, that is 15.6a and 15.6b. If you consider side leakage, so you have to use kW into factor, so that can be calculated with the graph, so that we'll discuss later while solving the problem if they mentioned in the problem. So S is nothing but Sommerfeld number. It is given by R divided by C whole square into Z into N divided by P into 10 to the power 6. The actually it is a unitless number, but they have given in terms of a minute per second in your data handbook. So that is one of the important note, because that may vary from textbook to textbook. Usually it should be dimensionless number. Unit of Sommerfeld number is given as S per minute. Actually it is not unit. Sommerfeld number is always unitless number, but if you use Mahadevan and Balavi Reddy data handbook, the whatever the expression for Sommerfeld number, it is given in S per minute, so you have to take care of that one. So while doing the calculation, if you use some other data handbook, so that value will be always unitless, for because both are time, numerator and denominator, so that will cancel each other. So that is about Sommerfeld number. This is the brief design procedure for general bearing. So based on nature of the problem, it may vary, but you should have include several things. The design procedure. The following procedure may be adopted in the design general bearing when the bearing load, diameter, and speed of the shafts are unknown. First, we have to determine bearing length by using ratio of L by D from table 15.7. Then you have to check the bearing pressure, nothing but P equal to W by L into D from the same table, that is 15.7. Then the third one, assume lubricant from table 26.2 and its operating temperature T0. This temperature should be between 26.52 degree and 60 degree with 82 degree as maximum of high temperature installation such as steam turbine. Then determine the operating value of Z and divided by P or assume bearing temperature and check whether this value corresponds value in table 15.7 to determine the possibility of maintaining fluid lump operation. Then you have to find out clearance ratio C by R from table 15.7. Determine the coefficient of friction using several equations such as Mech equation and Petrov equation. So we can calculate coefficient of friction. Then determine the heat generated by using the appropriate relation, as well as you have to find out heat distribution. Along with you can find out many unknowns such as attitude, then attitude angle, radial clearance, diametral clearance. All the design you have to include, so that will come to know while solving the problem. And one more thing, you have to determine the thermal equilibrium to see that heat dissipation becomes heat is at least equal to heat generated. So based on normal condition also you can design by considering heat generated should be equal to heat dissipation. Actually, if heat dissipation is more, means no need of any artificial cooling. So in case heat generated is more than heat dissipation, then either bearing is redesigned or it is artificially cooled by water. So that is one of the important things. Similarly, you can find out flow rate. So that also you can find out. Then you can find out some of the variables, that is coefficient of friction variable. So that is everything is there in your data and book. Similarly, you can find out frictional torque, power loss. You can find out. Then you can find out flow, whatever the discharge flow or discharge. So that should be in millimeter cube per minute. So that also you can find out. So based on types of problem, nature of the problem, so we can design the general bearing. So that is nothing but sliding contact bearing. This is about sliding contact bearing. Next class we'll discuss about theory of rolling contact bearing. It's nothing but anti-friction bearing. So again another part. So once you finish the theory portion of anti-friction bearing, so we solve problem on again sliding contact bearing. So how to design general bearing, then how to find out coefficient of friction, all the whatever the design procedure. So that will discuss. You know one problem completely all the variables, because all the problem is similar here. So only they will ask certain steps. They only ask. There's no need of finding everything. So they will ask only few questions such as find diameter of general, then bearing pressure, what is the heat generation, what is the heat dissipation. So they will ask specific questions. So you need to find out from the appropriate equation and appropriate chart. You may look at many charts. One of the important chart is you need to find out viscosity temperature chart with the help of operating temperature of the bearing. So you get viscosity. Similarly, one more table you have to find out, that is based on operating temperature. You can find which type of oil you can use. That is, so there will be different oil characteristics like the SAE, SAE10, SAE20 or SAE30. So based on number they are given, starting from A to K, that is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That is nothing but type of oil. So along with the specific gravity dimension. So that based on that you have to select appropriate oil. Then based on appropriate oil you have to design. So next class we'll start with the rolling contact rolling contact theory portion. Rolling contact bearing is nothing but anti-friction bearing. Thank you.